Men, pay close attention because what I'm about to tell you could change everything you think you know about aging and male strength. If you're already over 60 and still relying solely on olive oil to take care of your heart and circulation, you might unintentionally be blocking one of the most powerful natural pathways to regaining firmness. The reason so many older men lose rigidity, stop having morning erections, and feel their confidence fading isn't age. It's that no one ever explained what's really happening silently inside their arteries. You know that feeling, waking up and noticing nothing responds, looking in the mirror and wondering when the spark went out, trying an intimate moment only for the firmness to disappear halfway through, watching your partner's face go from excitement to disappointment, pretending everything's fine even though deep down you feel like a part of who you were is slowly fading away. That pain is real and it eats away at men from the inside. And here's a detail almost no one mentions. Olive oil on its own does very little for the smallest arteries in the penis if it's not combined with vinegar. But when these two ingredients come together, circulation can improve so quickly that many men notice changes in as little as 24 hours. Now, let me introduce myself. I'm Dr. Elena Ramírez, a urologist and men's health specialist with over 30 years of experience helping men like you regain their energy, vitality, and lost confidence. Before I continue, if you truly want to rebuild your strength as a man and learn more science-backed methods, I invite you to subscribe and turn on notifications. That way, YouTube knows this message matters. And leave me a quick comment. Write 1 if you're ready to take back control, or 0 if you still need more clarity. Now, let's look at why vinegar changes everything. First, the core problem that older men face. Let me ask you a question many don't dare to voice. When was the last time you woke up feeling truly alive as a man? I'm talking about that clear signal, the one that used to make you feel strong, confident, and ready to face the day. For many men over 60, that signal stopped coming. It didn't fade gradually. It wasn't gentle. One day it was there, and the next, almost without warning, it was gone. And no one prepares us for that unexpected silence. The hard truth is this. The first place a man starts to age isn't his face, hair, or joints, it's his circulation. The decline begins quietly, hidden in arteries you can't see. There are no alarms, no warning lights, no doctor telling you what's coming. One day you feel strong. The next you're in the bathroom staring at yourself, wondering where your energy went, why your body no longer responds like it used to, why something that was once natural now feels so difficult. It all starts with small moments. You convince yourself you're just tired. You avoid intimacy because you're afraid of the outcome. You make jokes to brush it off. You say it doesn't matter. You avoid looking directly at the disappointment in your partner's eyes, and gradually the nights grow quieter. The distance starts to build. Not because the love has faded, but because your inner confidence is crumbling. Little by little, you start feeling smaller in your own life, as if you're watching the role you once filled with pride slip away. But there's something no one talks about. That weight on your chest, that silent shame, that voice whispering that your best years are behind you. These aren't the thoughts of a weak man. They're the thoughts of someone who's been left alone without clear answers. A man who's been told to accept aging instead of being told what's really happening. Because losing sexual strength doesn't mean losing masculinity. It means losing circulation, and circulation can be restored. Energy can return. Confidence can be reborn. The real problem isn't lack of desire. That's still there. It's not your partner. You still care for her. And it's not age. Men in their 70s and even 80s are regaining what they thought was lost every day. The real issue is that the internal highways carrying blood have narrowed. The pressure isn't the same anymore. The pathways are blocked, and your body is trying to tell you something, begging for help, asking to be reactivated. The important question isn't what you've lost, but what would happen if you could free the circulation that's been trapped inside you for years? What if the strength you thought was gone was just waiting for the right signal? This brings us to something most men never understand. The penis doesn't depend solely on age or testosterone. It depends on blood flow. In the next part, I'll reveal a shocking truth about what the penis really is and why understanding it changes everything. 2. The penis is a blood flow organ. Most men go through life believing myths about their own bodies. They think erections depend on testosterone, desire, excitement, or effort. And when the response doesn't come, they believe something is wrong with them as men. But here's the truth that surprises almost everyone who sits in front of me. An erection has very little to do with strength and almost everything to do with circulation. The penis isn't a muscle. It doesn't work through force or willpower. It's a vascular organ, a network of tiny arteries and delicate tissues that depend entirely on the pressure and speed of blood filling them. If circulation isn't strong, nothing happens. No matter how much you want it, no matter how hard you try, no matter how intense your intention. Think about it for a moment. All those nights you blamed yourself, all those mornings you looked in the mirror feeling less of a man, all those times you thought you were too old, that your body had given up. What if the problem was never your masculinity? What if the real issue was that your circulation had been weakening long before anyone warned you? Inside your body, something silent has been happening for years. Arteries that once opened easily, allowing blood to flow effortlessly, began to harden. They narrowed and lost flexibility. The first place the damage becomes visible isn't the heart, brain, or muscles, it's the penis, because the arteries there are thinner than anywhere else in the body. When those tiny vessels lose even a little capacity, the impact is huge. A small drop in circulation can mean a massive loss of firmness. That's the biology behind so much frustration. That's the silent explanation for so many difficult nights. Yet no one teaches men this. They tell you to accept it, that it's just age, that there's nothing to do except take another pill. But no pill rebuilds arteries. No pill repairs damaged vessels. No pill restores the natural hydraulic power you once had. They only trigger a temporary reaction, they don't fix the root cause. And when the effect wears off, the fear comes back even stronger. When I explain to a man that the penis is an organ directly dependent on blood flow, and that none of this has anything to do with personal failure or lost masculinity, I watch his shoulders relax. I see tears in the eyes of men who've carried shame for years, because in that moment, they realize they're not broken. They're just blocked. And a blockage can be cleared, a pathway can be opened, a hydraulic system can be restored. What would change in your life if you could control your circulation the way you once controlled your strength? How would it feel to wake up again with that unmistakable signal? Not by luck or chemicals, but because your body is working the way it's supposed to. Keep that thought in mind, because in the next part, I'll explain why olive oil alone doesn't open those arteries, why so many men stay stuck despite their efforts, and what the surprising trigger is that unlocks true blood flow where it really matters. 3. Olive oil alone isn't enough. Here's a reality that shocks almost every man who hears it for the first time. You can eat perfectly. You can drown your salad in olive oil every night. You can walk miles each week to protect your heart and blood pressure, and still watch your erections weaken. You can do everything you thought was right, everything doctors and magazines recommended, and still lie awake wondering why nothing changes. The harsh truth is this: olive oil by itself cannot restore circulation in the body's smallest arteries. It can help the heart, benefit the brain, and calm joint inflammation. But when it comes to the delicate vascular system inside the penis, olive oil is like trying to open a locked door without the right key. Think of all the years you spent believing you were giving your body what it needed. You switched to healthy fats, gave up fried foods, avoided processed oils, made salads part of your routine. Maybe you even proudly told your doctor you were following the Mediterranean diet, expecting your numbers to improve. But deep down, something didn't add up. Maybe your blood pressure improved a bit, but your confidence kept fading. Maybe your physical strength held steady, but the spark that once defined your masculinity grew dim. You waited for results and got disappointment instead. If you're like many men I've seen in my practice, that disappointment turned into confusion. You did everything you were told, you were disciplined. So why did things keep getting worse? Why did your body stop responding just when you needed it most? Why did the very habits meant to protect you end up letting you down? That confusion turns into frustration. Frustration becomes silent fear. And that fear gradually becomes a deep silence that consumes a man from within. The reason olive oil doesn't work alone is pure biology, yet almost no one mentions it. For arteries to open and allow blood to reach the penis with force, they need nitric oxide, the molecule that tells vessel walls to relax and expand. Without nitric oxide, arteries stay stiff and narrow no matter how perfect your diet is. And olive oil by itself cannot trigger the release of nitric oxide. It needs an extra boost, a chemical signal, something to wake up that vascular response and unblock the pathways that time and inflammation have closed. That missing trigger is what most men never discover. Without it, they're trapped in the same cycle: effort without results. They feel proud of their discipline, but discipline without the right science only leads to disappointment. And the emotional weight of that disappointment runs deep. It affects not just the body, but identity, connection with a partner, and that quiet dignity a man carries inside. But what if the solution was never complicated? What if all your body needed was a simple signal to release the circulation you've been trying to regain for years? What if there was a natural switch that could turn olive oil from merely useful into truly powerful? From maintenance to activation. Stay with me because in the next part, I'll reveal the ingredient that completely changes this story. The key that opens blood flow even in men in their 70s or 80s. And the surprising reason it works faster than most imagine. 4. Vinegar is the activation switch. Here's a truth that leaves many men stunned the moment they hear it. The difference between a weak erection and a strong, confident one can depend on something as common, simple, and underrated as vinegar. Not a pill, not an expensive supplement, not a risky procedure, just vinegar. When men hear this for the first time, they almost laugh because it seems too simple, too basic, too everyday to make any real difference. But what if the most powerful solution was never meant to be complicated? What if nature left a key right in front of your eyes, waiting for you to be ready to see it? Looking at the science, it's clear. Vinegar contains acetic acid, a compound that triggers a series of reactions in the body directly linked to erectile strength. When acetic acid enters the bloodstream, it signals the endothelium, the inner lining of your arteries, to release nitric oxide, the molecule responsible for relaxing and widening blood vessels. And when those vessels open, blood can finally flow into the penis with force, speed, and pressure. That surge is the difference between hoping for an erection and having one. the difference between feeling powerless and feeling alive again. But vinegar's impact goes beyond nitric oxide. It also reduces blood sugar spikes after meals, protecting the tissues that support good circulation. It lowers silent inflammation that hardens arteries. It helps burn visceral belly fat, the dangerous kind that crushes testosterone and steals energy. And perhaps most surprisingly, vinegar also helps balance the gut microbiome, which regulates overall body inflammation and hormonal harmony. When the gut starts to recover, blood vessels relax. When vessels relax, circulation improves. And when circulation improves, a man feels his strength returning from deep within. Many men tell me, it was like something inside me turned back on. They say it with a mix of relief and disbelief. They describe warmer feet, lighter energy, better sleep, softer blood pressure, rebuilding confidence, and sometimes much sooner than expected, waking up to a morning they thought was gone forever. Not by luck or forcing anything, but because their body finally received the signal it had been waiting for years. Most men spend years searching for answers everywhere except the simplest place. They think the solution has to be complicated or expensive. They believe the only way out is medication. But the truth is humble. Sometimes the body just needs the chance to work as it was designed. Vinegar isn't a miracle or magic, it's a switch. A switch that turns circulation back on. So now the real question arises. If vinegar can activate blood flow so powerfully, what happens when it's combined with the perfect partner? The ingredient that amplifies its effect and makes blood circulate like it did decades ago? What happens when the key finally finds the lock? Stay with me, because in the next part you'll discover the moment everything changes. 5. The power of combining vinegar and olive oil. What I'm about to say may be the most important sentence in this entire video. Vinegar alone is powerful, but when combined with olive oil, something extraordinary happens in the body. Something capable of helping men in their 70s and 80s regain erections. Together, these two ingredients create a biological reaction that neither can achieve alone. It's the kind of transformation that makes men sit up straight and whisper, "Why didn't anyone tell me this before?" When vinegar enters the blood, it sends the chemical signal that unlocks arteries, releasing nitric oxide and relaxing vessel walls. But when olive oil reaches the same system, bringing healthy monounsaturated fats and antioxidants, it acts like fuel on a flame. It improves absorption, protects the endothelium from oxidative damage, stabilizes the nitric oxide already being released, and together they create a surge in circulation many men haven't felt in years. The combination turns a subtle spark into a wave of blood strong enough to wake a system that's been asleep too long. Many men come to me after years of frustration, having tried everything except what actually works. They say, "I eat well, I exercise, I use olive oil, I do what I'm supposed to. Why do I still have this problem?" Every time I look them in the eye and tell them the truth. Olive oil keeps the highway in good condition, but vinegar opens the main gate. You need both if you want blood to move with real power. One without the other is wasted potential. Together, they become the simplest, most accessible tool nature created to restore male vitality. I've seen this transformation hundreds of times. Men who hadn't had a morning erection in months suddenly wake up changed. Husbands who avoided intimacy out of fear now approach their partners without hesitation. Men who thought their body had reached the end start noticing warmth in their hands and feet, clarity returning to their mind, strength coming back to their core. And the smile that slowly appears on their face is always the same, a mix of relief, surprise, and quiet pride they thought was lost forever. The emotional change is as real as the physical. It's the moment a man stops feeling diminished and starts feeling on the rise. It's when the silence breaks. It's when hope returns. Because when blood flow comes back, everything else returns with it: confidence, connection, desire, identity. A small daily habit can achieve what years of worry and medication couldn't. So now the real question is, if something this simple can rebuild circulation from within, how do you use it correctly? What's the exact method that lets men feel changes in days, not months? And how do you avoid the mistakes most men make even before they start? Stay with me, because in the next part, everything becomes real and practical. This is where you learn exactly how to do it. 6. How to use it correctly and the mistake most men make. Let me start with a truth that might sting a little. Most men don't fail because the solution doesn't work. They fail because they never learn to apply it the right way. They rush, improvise, try it once or twice, expecting a miracle. And when they don't see immediate results, they give up, convinced their body is beyond repair. But the problem isn't age or biology, it's technique. There's a right way to combine vinegar and olive oil to activate blood flow, and there's a wrong way. Choose the wrong one, and you'll never experience the transformation that's completely possible for you. The method is simple, but it must be done with intention. It starts even before you sit down to eat. 10 to 15 minutes before your two main meals of the day, take a large glass of water and mix in 1 or 2 teaspoons of vinegar. Apple cider vinegar or red wine vinegar are usually the most effective. Drink it slowly, giving your body time to prepare. This isn't a meaningless ritual. This is where the biochemical change happens. Vinegar lowers the blood sugar spike that damages the endothelium, the inner lining of your arteries. It gives vessels a chance to relax instead of tense up. It prevents the silent assault that destroys circulation in millions of older men every day. This step alone can alter your body's response for